what's up, Zoners? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard Ethan Wolf, coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is the Fantasy Red Zone. Today, man, we've got streamers for each position, okay? Other than, it's a rough week, dude, for tight ends and quarterbacks, Jason. I was just telling you that. Holy shit, man. They either have bad matchups or are on bye. So, they should be available. Now, the quarterback I have is 75% owned, so I apologize about that. But hey, you probably have him on. I bet you if you have this guy, you probably have two quarterbacks. You can stream him. We also have our plays and our pauses of the week, play or pause. So the players that we think that you should definitely play, insert in your starting lineup, top 5 potential maybe. And then the players or pause, are players that you should have pause on. I'm not saying sit him. It's not like, start, sit this dude. We're saying have some pause on this guy. We'll give you some reasons. So stick around for that. We also have the news, Jason, but before we get into all of that, we need to tell the public how they can help the show because we need help.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually talk about the whole pause thing because I am pausing a player just because I don't think he's going to get the, that position 1 points. Does that make sense?
He's not going to end. He's going to end as like a wide receiver 13, not a wide receiver 12.
Exactly. So
or better.
Exactly. If you made it this far and enjoy two friends talking about fantasy football, then please hit the subscribe, press the like. We like the likes. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the player or pauses about the streamers. If you have any questions about start and sit, you can let us know in the comments. And then we're also on the radio at Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. We also got a Patreon for you guys.
Best way to support the show, hopefully sends us out to more people, subscribe, and Patreon, dog, if you ever want to see more of us. All right, man, let's get into the news. I almost started going over streamers because I was super excited about my wide receiver. Anyways, hey, man, George Kittle has been like a top 3 play for me for like last, 7 weeks, dude. George Kittle says he will play week 12 versus Green Bay. So if you're a Kittle owner, man, you only lost him out for that one game. That's actually not bad.
I think he's been tight in 1 for like most of the season.
Yeah, well, because he's getting touchdowns. Nobody was in rhythm. Look at Debo. So even Debo's not taken away from him. It's been Juwan Jennings. So, yeah, Juwan Jennings does well even with Kittle thriving. So they can both coexist. Debo is fucked. I own Debo. Anyways, hey, man. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid on Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt in the same backfield. We will find a way. Both of them are good players. We will find a way to get both of them. And if and when that takes place, that's a good problem to have. So, hey. He's already projected points. He's supposed to get inserted a little bit, maybe today. That sounds funny. Or this week. But eventually, this is going to be a clusterfuck of a situation, and I do not want to be a part of it, especially in your playoffs, man. So if you want to try to trade away one of these guys, maybe. But the rest of your league mates are thinking that as well.
It's too risky, man. I think you gotta get rid of one of them. They're going to be going in. They're going to be chiming in, chipping away at each other's opportunities, dude. That sucks.
I traded Hunt for Debo a couple weeks ago, and Debo's been so bad, I bet you could still do that. So I don't know if take what you can get for him. But yeah, that is not what we wanted to hear. Pacheco owners wanted to hear, hey, once he's healthy, he'll get the full workload. But this is just like, hey, man, we're going to use both of these running backs. Hey, man, Jason, Mike Evans. I wanted to put this guy as the start of the week. I talked about him in our cornerback episode, wide receiver matchup. He has one of the best matchups this week, being shadowed by the Giants' worst cornerback, Jason Deonta Banks or whatever his name is. So Mike Evans plans on playing this week, he says, versus the Giants. So that's from him. I don't know what the doctors say, but he says he plans on playing. So if he plays, I say roll him out.
Oh, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment for 5 weeks.
And also, Jason, try to trade for Baker Mayfield before this happens. I send trades to your dad all the time, Jason, and he acts like he doesn't get anything, man. I even messaged him commented on a Facebook post he had. He had one of funny, he likes to post those funny things, and I was like, yeah. Deny my fantasy trades. So I checked, he did not even do that.
I'll talk to him, dude. I'll fucking whip this guy into shape, bro. I hate that. I hate that.
I was like, hey man, I'm just trying to trade Debo for Juwan Jennings. And I'm trying to trade, dude, he's got 2 good quarterbacks. I'm trying to trade for Baker Mayfield with DJ Moore. I don't know if that would happen, but I'd like to. All right, hey. Jason, Brooks to play behind Hubbard. So Brooks making his debut. Sanders out. God damn it. I thought I wrote down who they're playing against. It's not a great matchup. What'd you say? Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so terrible matchup. But hey, man, Hubbard. I would still start with confidence. I would expect like maybe a 20% snap count, 25% snap count for Brooks.
So you would still play Chuba Hubbard this week?
Yeah, it's a terrible matchup, but I mean, shit, dude, running backs in general. If you get a running back that, like Chuba, if you get a running back that gets most of the load, he's a running back too, man. So you have to start him. And then, hey, dog, Swift did not practice with a groin injury today. So I read this tweet, and it literally, I mean, I saw like three different tweets about this. It all said DeAndre Swift out, bold letters, man. And then it went with a groin injury today, reassessed. They will reassess tomorrow. I'm like, dude, it's Wednesday, man. It's Dude's Day. Everybody's missing. Everybody misses Wednesday with injuries. I don't really give a shit, dude. So DeAndre Swift, we will talk about later on in this episode, Jason. I said to trade him away. Try to trade him away.
Yep. I hate those like Wednesdays. I try not even to look at injury reports, dude. I fucking hate them so much.
Dude. I mean, I could have put 15 people on here with injuries. Missed practice. Devontae Smith missed practice with a hamstring. Blah blah blah. It's all Wednesday, man. So unless the player is injured and he does, I don't know. It's a Dude's Day. All right.
I hate the ones that are like on Monday and they're like missed practice. Maybe would have missed practice if there was practice today.
No,
have you seen
I
those?
quit going to that. I quit using that website, Jason. That shit.
Oh my god, dude! What the hell? If there were, he would have missed. Did you ask him? Is there a quote with that? Like, come on, dude.
Hey, Njoku cleared to play Thursday versus Pittsburgh. This is going to be. It's got one of the lowest. I think it's the second lowest over and under. Jason, I am trying to avoid Jameis Winston. All right, and Jameis Winston has 3 terrible matchups. He plays Pittsburgh 2 of the next 3 weeks, man. But Njoku, out of everybody there, I would trust the most. So if he plays, he's probably a tight end 1 for you.
Yeah, we saw what the Steelers did to the Ravens. So,
it's an AFC North divisional games. But the kicker here is, it's Jameson Winston, and he plays like nobody else. He doesn't give a fuck if you're in Baltimore or Pittsburgh. He's still going to throw the ball. So I don't know how it's going to end up.
How come check 'em football? You don't care.
I'm serious, because I was like, this could be like a divisional, like those crazy low scoring, like terrible divisional matchups. But it's like there is a chance with Jameson Winston that it's high scoring, crazy shit.
He looks downfield first and then goes middle.
Works his way back.
Yeah, it works his way back.
Hey man, I started him last week. I dropped him because I looked at his schedule. It fucking sucks, dude. So go pick up Matthew Stafford. Maybe we'll see. I was gonna say pick up Tua, but we'll talk about that later, Jason. And then hey, lastly, Thielen cleared to play. Adam Thielen cleared to play. Questionable this week versus Kansas City. So Jalen Coker is a pretty good PPR flex streamer. He's not on here because of this right here, actually. And I've spoken about him like 2 weeks in a row. But Jalen Coker, if Thielen does not play, even if he does play, Coker is still like 10% owned. Go start him. But he has to go against Kansas City as well. But hey, man, PPR, flex, streamer, I like it.
Do you think it would better his chances of Adam Thielen plays?
No. I don't think anybody's too concerned about Adam Thielen. Like, we're going to double Adam Thielen and things are going to open up for Jalen Coker. Nah, right. I don't think so. So anyways, all right, man. Let's do some streamers, Jason. This first guy I want to talk about is a wide receiver. He literally has the best matchup this week. He kind of touched, I keep on factoring this into his points. I'm always like, man, he's got this receiving touchdown. Well, it's the Bears, dude. He caught that one. The Bears tipped it to him at the end of the game. Noah Brown. So you might as well take that touchdown away from him. But hey, man. It's right here. He's only 10% owned. He's going against Dallas, all right? He has the best cornerback matchup this week against left cornerback Kalen Carson. And the big thing about Kalen Carson and he plays the left side, so he covers the right wide receiver. 75% of plays, Noah Brown plays that position, right wide receiver. And Dallas is allowing the most fantasy points per game to that position, the right wide receiver in particular. So everything lines up, Jason. He plays that 75% of the time, which is pretty rare. Usually wide receivers are like 30-30-30 or, whatever. Not usually all the one side. Noah Brown is, man. And he gets the best matchup for Dallas Cowboys. Diggs is going to be playing against McLaurin. So I would actually, if I was desperate for a wide receiver, man, I think he is definitely worth a flex. He's probably going to be a wide receiver 20 or better this week.
Yeah, now the the Dallas Cowboys are a team that you are trying to take advantage of on offense and defense. I actually picked up the Washington Commanders defense to start them against the Cowboys this week. Noah Brown's kind of been like that good number 2 for the Commanders. He, looking at his stats, there's really nothing there that really, is outstanding. That's great. I mean, his true catch rate is 100%. That's tied for 6th, which is great. So if you give him a ball that's catchable, he's going to catch it.
How the fuck is it 100% and he's tied for 6th?
Because other people have 100%.
Oh, so he's tied for 1st.
Oh, it's tied for 1st. Why? Sorry. Yes, he's tied for 1st. The math ain't mathing, Tyler.
Shit ain't right.
So yeah, if you're going to get this guy, a guy who can at least have an attempt to catch the ball, he's going to catch it, which is great.
Well, the big thing for me though, Jason, was he was exceeding or meeting McLaurin's targets. But the problem is, I just saw the stat about your Jaden Daniels, Jason. He was amazing for like the first month. He has not been great for a while, and he has not been throwing the ball a lot either. So
yeah, that's the last 2 weeks have not been good for him.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like I don't know. Terry McLaurin gets the higher value targets, but Noah Brown's still getting targeted almost as much as Terry McLaurin. All right, next up, Jason.
Okay, go on.
Oh, sorry. Cam Akers, dog. Running backs. It's a tough world out here, man. It is a tough world. They're going against Chicago. He's only 20% owned. It's Jason's favorite player, man. I think Jason has traded for Akers 10 times over our fantasy football career. Double-digit carries, Jason, and 3 targets over the last 2 weeks. He had a receiving touchdown last week, man. Chicago allowing the 5th most rushing yards over the last 3 games. That secondary forces the issue, man. You just have to run the goddamn ball against Chicago. Chicago allowing the 4th most rushing touchdowns over the last 3, which is valuable there too. And then they are allowing the 6th most rushing attempts. So again, people have to run the ball against Chicago, man. That's just the way it is. And then Aaron Jones dealing with the rib injury. His snap percentage, Jason, over the last 2 weeks, 52%, 53%. Akers, 31%, up to 37% last week. So, dude, I'm just saying, Cam Akers, you can do a lot worse than Cam Akers out there. I was starting Gus Edwards' ass last week. I should have been starting Cam Akers.
Yeah, I think it's actually funny that you bring this guy up, and it's just because I was this close. People who are listening on Spotify, I am making the size of a little peephole.
It's like you said about a little pee-pee.
Oh, pee-pee. No, of a little
or a pee hole. I look like a pee hole right there.
A pee hole, size of a pee hole. Yeah. To making Aaron Jones my play of the week. Tyler, I think I even told you earlier in the day that he was going to be my play of the week for running backs. I was like, dude, he's got a pretty sweet matchup. But then when I was like looking into it more, I was like, Cam Akers is like chopping away at this dude's snaps and opportunities. I'm like, oh, damn, dude. And like Cam Akers, his touchdown last week was at the goal line. I don't like that. Cut that shit out. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I got to stay away from Aaron Jones because he's on the decline right now.
Yeah, I just think he's been injured, dude, for a while. He came on hot for like 2 games in a row. We're like, oh my God, dude. Aaron Jones, top 15 running back. And then he got injured, and it's just been dealing with that. They traded for Cam Akers because of that injury, I think, maybe.
Yeah. I think I remember that. It was when he hurt his like hip in London.
England. All right, man. Next up, we're gonna double tap this biatch. Will Dissly, Jason, only 26% owned. Like I said, it's a tough week between tight ends and quarterbacks. Either terrible matchups or everybody's on bye, especially for tight ends, man. All the good matchups for tight ends on fucking bye. It's insane. But Baltimore allowing the 10th most fantasy points per game to tight ends. I'm sure you're going to cover that. 6+ targets in 4 of the last 5 games and caught his only touchdown last week. So we like that. And again, I'm looking at passing attempts. And we look at pass funnel offenses. Dude, Baltimore is is the most extreme pass funnel offense. They are allowing the 2nd most pass attempts over the last 3 weeks. So you have to throw the ball against them, Jason. And before you say anything, I'm going to continue on. The Bo Nix, Jason. All right. Okay. I just want to talk about this. I get it. Dude, Bo Nix, 75% owned. But I want to point this out. He's going against Las Vegas. And for like the first third of the year, maybe even half of the season, Las Vegas was doing very well against the pass. Dude, they've been terrible against the pass lately. Las Vegas is allowing the most passing touchdowns per game over the last 3.3 touchdowns per game, Jason. So, I mean, that was like somebody threw for 3 touchdowns, and then 4 touchdowns. They're allowing the 7th most passing yards per game at 255 over the last 3, 11th fewest on the year. They were like top 5 fewest for the first half of the year. So I just saw this and I just wanted to point it out. But it's like, dude, if you're looking at true streamers, Jason, Geno versus Arizona is allowing nothing over the last 3 weeks. Go check out Arizona's stats over the last 3 weeks. Holy shit, it's crazy. Plus, they have the best slot corner, and JSN is going to have a tough time. And then Anthony Richardson versus Detroit, that sounds terrible. Dude, Caleb versus Minnesota with that blitz. Stafford versus Philadelphia. I picked up Stafford, and I cannot start him. Jameis Winston versus Pittsburgh. What the fuck? Darnold at Chicago. Oh, my God. And then, Jason, I like Tua. That's what I'm doing. And you're going to tell me not to start him. So things are fucked for quarterbacks as far as streamers go. So Bo Nix, dog.
Dude, I'm all about Bo Nix, man. I just did. I have Bo Nix and Jordan Love in the listener league. I think I'm starting Bo Nix from here on out, dude, because his schedule is like insane. PFF just talked about in our offensive line, defensive line report how like he gets like the offensive line protects him so well, and in the clean pocket he just lights dudes up. Curtin Sutherland is a benefit from that, and he rushes the ball. Tyler, he's a runner. He's a track star. But then, yeah, dude, and what you were just saying, this is a crazy week because I was like going through like which quarterbacks I feel like are going to like underperform this week. And like, yeah, there is like the obvious ones I don't want to hit because I'm like, yeah, Matthew Stafford against the Eagles. He just did great last week, but now he's going against probably the hottest defensive team in the league right now. I don't want to start anybody against the Eagles. The one person who had like, he was projected like 17 points and it was like, you know, this game could kind of go either way is Tua, and we'll talk about that more.
Well, and that's the problem, Jason, is like I wanted to force the issue with like Geno Smith, and then I started looking at Arizona stats for the last 3 games. I'm just not going to force the issue with streamers. I can't do it. And there's only 32 quarterbacks, you know, so it's not like wide receivers or whatever.
Arizona's been great. Their defense has been playing pretty well.
I was talking so much shit. I was like, you got to fire your defensive coach, man. Your defense sucks. And they turned it around, man.
Yeah, they really did.
All right, Jason, let's start off with the pauses. We just talked about this. So we're going to go over pauses first. So the players we have pause on. Again, I'm probably going to be starting some of these players. But it's a hard week, and I do have pause on these guys. But, hey, man, what the other options are fucked up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyways, and then we'll end with some positivity and go over our plays. So, Jason, give me a quarterback. Have pause on.
Yeah, I'm going to actually silence the siren tonight, and this is going to be my gamble of the week, since we already kind of started talking about him, and it's Tua Tagovailoa, and he's a quarterback 27 right now. You know, it was hard to go through and try to find one that's not very obvious, man. And Tua, I'm looking at the stats, he does have a good chance to underperform. The Patriots have allowed 16 passing touchdowns this year. That's like middle of the pack. That's a little over 1 passing touchdown a game. Tua only has 2 multi-passing touchdown games this season. I know Matthew Stafford just had a 4-touchdown game versus the Patriots last weekend. But in the last 5 weeks, the Patriots have given up the 7th fewest passing yards a game. And the Dolphins' offense isn't running as smooth as the Rams, right? We're all sitting here and being like, dude, where's Tyreek Hill? Where's Jalen Waddle? It's not as running as smooth as past years. And, also, speaking of the run, the Patriots have allowed the top 12 rushing yards to running backs. So I can see this more being like a running back-friendly game than a quarterback. And the Dolphins allow the 4th most sacks conversion rate when pressured. So when they get pressured, most of the time, the 4th most, it turns into a sack. Tua's at the bottom of the league in passing attempts inside the 10. They are run first. They're a run-first team near the goal line, and the Patriots allow a rushing touchdown 67% of the time inside the 5. And that's number 1, baby. Number 1. So I said, I see a better game coming from like Achane, and I would pause to a Tagovailoa this game.
So I'm checking out Achane's targets, Jason, because now I'm thinking, because I'm starting Tua, you know, I'm like, oh, fuck. What you're telling me. And I'm like, well, you know what? I mean, they could still throw the ball a lot to the running back, maybe. And, dude, he's only had he hasn't even broken 50 yards in a while, but still 8 targets, 5 targets, 4 targets, 2 receiving touchdowns in the last 4 games. So Achane, I think it would be a good game for Achane to catch a touchdown. Dog
Hell yeah.
is what I'm thinking when I'm looking at this. But
I like
yeah,
that.
man, I mean, I've got Stafford, but I'm not starting Stafford against Philadelphia. Who would you rather start, Jason? Stafford versus Philadelphia, or Tua versus New England?
Tua, I think Tua definitely has a better chance to. Part of the reason why he is also such a gamble is because he has big players, like he's got big playmakers on his team. We just saw what Jonnu Smith had that 57-yard touchdown, even though it was a broken play. But I mean, you still got Jalen Waddle, you still got Tyreek Hill, you still got Achane. There's still a chance that they could take a screen pass to the house. It's probably easier for them than most teams. So I think if you're going to play Tua, you're betting on that. You're hoping on that because near the goal line, they run it first.
Yeah, I mean, I got some hard thinking to do because I had Drake May out there too, but even Drake May doesn't have a great matchup either. So it's just like it's tough, man. It's a tough world out there. All right, dude. DeAndre Swift, you see him up here. The over and under for this game is at 39.5. That is the second lowest on the week. So they think it's going to be a defensive game. 3 games prior to week 11, Swift had a running back rushing share of 90%, 84%, 94% in week 11. He was at 58%. They changed offensive coordinators. That guy was a running back coach. So we thought that Swift was going to get even more usage. That was not the case, man. Roschon Johnson came up and filled that role and got a touchdown, man. So he's also failed to hit double-digit target share in 3 of the last 4 games. So he's not even catching the ball a lot. They're feeding the ball to the wide receivers as they should with those 3 wide receivers. And then let's see, dude. Minnesota allowing the second fewest rushing attempts over the last 3 games. Dude, Minnesota, they don't care. Like I say this all the time. They don't care if you throw it 1,000 times. They just want to kill that run. Okay? So nobody really runs the ball against Minnesota. It just keeps on happening that way. Let's see. Minnesota allowing the fewest rushing yards per game over the last 3 at 52.3 rushing yards per game. So over the last, 3 games, like 150 yards total, 160 pretty much. Dude, that's fucking crazy. Next is Miami at 75 rushing yards per game. So they're almost like 25%, giving up like 25% more, 50% more. So depending on how you look at it. So Minnesota's just dominating the running game. Unlike anybody has this year. It's fucking crazy. Let's see. Roschon Johnson was 10 for 3 with the touchdown last week. So he still got his. We're 10 for 3. Why did I say 10 for 3? It must have been 10 for 30 something. Yeah. But still, dude. Okay, Swift was 14 for 71 and a touchdown. Roschon even had 1 target, so it's not like they're even giving the passes only to Swift. So yeah, dude. Minnesota, number 2 in the league, allowing 0.3 rushing touchdowns per game. So they're not even allowing touchdowns per game, Jason. You can't score with your running backs versus Minnesota. Hey, and you're going to get cute. Like if Swift is out, like I said, like I know that tweet was whatever. I don't really care because it's a Wednesday. I expect Swift to play. But say something happens and Swift is out. Don't get cute, man. Even Roschon Johnson will get fucked.
Yeah, this is not a team that you want to go up against when the Minnesota Vikings are pretty good. DeAndre Swift, right? And he's had a good couple of weeks. People are like, hey, maybe this guy's a league winner. But we're seeing more out of the backfield with Johnson now with the new coach. Dude, this is what scares me the most is that DeAndre Swift, he only has 19 red zone touches, Tyler. That is 32nd in the league. And his yards per touch is 30th. So he's not getting the red zone touches, dude. And now you're telling me whatever he was getting, he's going to get less of because Roschon Johnson there. So if you're playing this guy, you're hoping for a miracle that he could score again from 30 yards out like he did against the Packers.
Well, I bet his percentage was good. Like a percentage of running back red zone snaps. Like I bet you was like a 90%. Like he was the red zone running back. They just never got to the fucking red zone. So that was the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't move the ball. So I was just thinking like, yeah, like I expect him to be the red zone back. And now if they're within the 5 though, it's all Roschon Johnson. Okay, Jason, next up, give me a wide receiver to pause.
Let's pause wide receiver 14, Malik Nabers.
Oh yeah.
I mean, okay.
He's got an awesome matchup, dude.
That's the first sentence in my note. This is a great matchup for Nabers, right? Tampa Bay allows 38 points a game to wide receivers, But this isn't a post hating on Malik Nabers. It's a post hating on Tommy DeVito. DeVito's career average is 125 yards and 19 attempts a game. So what I'm seeing here is that they don't really throw the ball when he's playing. They like to run it. So I think, who's that going to benefit, Tyler, if they're going to run the ball an extra, or they're going to run the ball more?
Oh, there was Eagles Insider, or not Eagles, Giants Insider just came out like 4 hours ago. I almost added it to the news and said that there's a run-heavy game plan for Tampa Bay. For the Giants against Tampa Bay.
Well, there you go. And I'm not surprised because the stats show that he doesn't throw the ball a lot. And then when he does throw it, he doesn't like to throw deep. I can see Nabers getting like 4 or 5 catches for like 60 yards, right? But no touchdowns. It feels like DeVito is that Wan'Dale Robinson is going to benefit more from Tommy DeVito. So, I pause Malik Nabers. I don't see him. I see him being barely a flex this week. No touchdown.
So, well, I'm looking, Jason, at Danny DeVito's last year. So he didn't throw touchdowns in like his last 3 games. But man, he started off hot. Remember when everybody loved him? He had a touchdown, 2 touchdowns, then 3 touchdowns. In his 3 touchdown game, he also had 250 yards. He was quarterback 7 on the week. Was at Washington, and Washington had a defense very similar to what Tampa Bay is putting out this year. So there is a non-zero chance he could do well. But he had literally 1 good game. Everything else he's thrown, he never hit 200 yards, and he threw 2 touchdowns one other time, but he only threw for 86 yards in that game, Jason. So everything was under 200. Everything was under 200 yards and under 2 touchdowns or no touchdowns. But the one game was at Washington, and remember last year Washington's defense was the worst in the league. That's what Tampa Bay's is. So that is the one thing he's got going for him.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, well, he did have 1 game with like 3 touchdowns. Majority of his average came from that 1 game. Everything else, didn't he eventually get replaced too? And it was a Tyrone.
Yeah. Dude, he sucked for a while. Like, he fucking sucked.
Tyrone Taylor had to come in, maybe.
Yeah. But hey, man, 7 rushing attempts, 10 rushing attempts, 4 rushing attempts. So he does run the ball too.
Yeah, the last month, Malik Nabers has been nothing with Daniel Jones. Are we saying Tommy DeVito is going to be better than Daniel Jones? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't know. All right, Jason. We're looking at some macaroni and cheese. Kraft is the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways.
Dude,
even like all the matchups I usually target for tight ends, bad tight ends, man, were either on bye or had amazing. It just didn't line up this week. It was a rough week. But hey, Kraft versus 49ers, dude. Again, Houston, 49ers. These linebacker-led teams are pretty damn good against tight ends. That seems to be the theme here. And 49ers have Fred Warner, best coverage linebacker in the history of the NFL. The over and under is at 47.5, dude. That's the 4th highest. That's actually pretty high. So this is supposed to be a high-scoring game. Last week, he only had 1 target against Chicago. He didn't even catch it. The 49ers were number 1 versus tight ends. Now they are number 5. So they have been giving up some points to the tight end. Let's see. Kraft, dude, has 5 touchdowns in the last 7 games. Dude, tight ends have only scored 2 touchdowns versus the 49ers all season, and also the Bears. So the Bears had a good defense, and they did not allow touchdowns to tight ends. And it's a similar, and he had 1 catch, no touchdowns, or one target, no touchdowns. Well, the 49ers kind of mirror that as what Chicago does, as far as giving up very few touchdowns to tight ends. And this guy kind of thrives on touchdowns, Jason. Like, that's where he gets his points as a tight end. 5 in the last 7. So the 49ers are built to handle for the yardage, and they've only allowed 2 touchdowns. So I'm liking that. And then inside the top 12 tight ends, only 2 of the last 5 games, Jason. So I know it's a rough week for tight ends, but if I had Kraft, I would probably try. I'd go Will Dissly, dude, or something.
Yeah. Quick question: do you feel like Kraft may be someone to drop? If
Dude,
you're so,
if somebody drafted Zach Ertz, you know what I'm saying, and then he blew up. I still like Kraft. Look, like I said, 5 touchdowns in the last 7 games, and he had one bad game. He still gets like 4+ targets. I mean, I know I'm a Brock Bowers owner, and it's not doing a ton for me this year, but still, I look at Kraft as like I'd want him on my team. If I didn't have a top 3 tight end, I would want Kraft on my team
So okay, so we're
for like
still,
situational like starts and stuff like that.
yeah. His points per game right now is like 9.6. What? Yeah, he's still a tight end. I'm just wondering, like he is tight end 10 in points per game. I'm almost wondering if it's like easier to like stream a tight end right now,
Right?
like a Will Disley. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, 6 targets, 3 targets, 4 targets, 4 targets, 5 targets. Like he gets targets in this offense, and he's the red zone threat. Him and Christian Watson, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, he had one terrible game, and then people were just kind of giving up on him. So I kind of like him.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, Jason, let's go on to the plays. So I think I start off with the plays, right?
Yes.
That means I have to play. That means I have to play a quarterback.
You gotta play a quarterback.
I was like, dude, what the fuck? What did I do? I don't remember.
I'm anxious to see who this
Oh,
is.
Herb, dog. We got the herb. We got that magic herb.
Nope.
Yeah, and you know what's huge for me is shit. I wonder if I can find my marker. Oh shit, I might have lost my marker. What's big for me, Jason, is that he is at home and not at Baltimore. I hate playing people at Baltimore. I don't know what happened to my marker.
Baltimore.
Dude, well, crazy shit happened. Oh, here we go. Crazy shit happens at Baltimore. But anyways, all right, play. We got Herb. He's turning into a fucking running back machine. Pretty much, but here we go. Over and under for this game, Jason. It's the highest of the week. So 2 defensive teams, supposedly, have the highest over and under for the week at 50.5. Baltimore is allowing the 5th most passing yards per game over the last 3. Baltimore allowing the 2nd most passing attempts over the last 3. So again, this is the pass funnel offense, man. It's like you cannot run the ball against these guys. And who do they have to run the ball against Baltimore? Fucking ex-Baltimore people, dude. So it's like I just expect they do. I'm just saying, like they're gonna kill. I feel like they're gonna kill Dobbins and Edwards. They're like, oh, I know what you're doing. Like, oh, your first step like that, like, or some crazy shit. I'm gonna be like, fuck, man. So yeah, and then Herb is averaging 37 rushing yards over the last 4 games. It was at 5.7 over his first 6 games. So pretty much 6 yards per game over his first 6 games, Jason. Now 37 rushing yards per game over the last 4. So that raises his floor. Baltimore, you have to throw the ball against Baltimore. Vegas, the smartest people in fantasy football, said it's going to be the highest scoring game. So, dude, if I had Herbert, I'm gonna be ranking him probably in the top 8. And yeah, I wish I fucking had him, dude. I thought in the beginning of this year, dude, we all ranked Herbert so low. And same thing with Bo Nix. All right. And now if you had one of these 2, you're killing it.
Yeah, but I mean, look how Justin Herbert was playing at the earlier part of the year. You know, he was playing like you probably should have left him on your waiver wire, but now they're thinking like, well, J.K. Dobbins looks like he's kind of run out of gas, and we're losing games. Yeah, maybe we should start throwing it with our elite quarterback, and it's working. Tyler, I'm looking at this right now, dude, and I'm just like going up against that secondary and the deep ball completion percentage for Justin Herbert. He's 3rd overall. And I'm like, okay, so this guy's going to air it out, and he's going to get some Lad McConkey. He's going to get Quentin Johnson. Dude, Joshua Palmer, is he making a comeback this game? There's a possibility. And there's another player, but we'll talk about him a little bit later. Again.
Yeah, in the cornerback wide receiver episode, I talked about how I really like Quentin Johnson this week. But yeah, dude. So Quentin Johnson could be a streamer as well. You know, there's so many. I have so many ideas for streamers for wide receivers. It's so easy for those. I could get 5 wide receivers, but I try to just do one of each position, not waste your time. Anyways, all right.
This might be a game where Quentin Johnson might have a career high in targets with 6. You know,
I was wondering what you were gonna say. All right, Jason, give me a running back? Yeah, a running back to play this week.
Well, I didn't have to look too far. I just looked at my roster, and let's say play running back 26, Bucky Irving. We're going to stay in the same game with the Giants and the Buccaneers. Well, actually, Tyler, this will probably be good for both running backs since they're both projected 13 points, Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. But White is averaging 6 targets a game with Mike Evans out. Well, he's due back. So keep that in mind. I don't see the Buccaneers trailing to Danny DeVito-led Giants at all. We're likely to see a lead and a lot of rushing, so which means, okay, so Irving averages close to 9 rushes a game, but he dominates the goal line carries from 8 to Rachaad White's 1. I can't believe Rachaad White's only had 1 goal line carry this year. The Bucs earn a 1.42 yards before contact, that's 7th best, while the Giants allow 1.32, which is still top 10 for defense, but the Giants allow the 5th most rushes inside the 5. And I said earlier, right? Irving wins that stat line 8-1 when it comes to goal line carries. So I see more than 9 carries with multiple attempts inside the 10 for Bucky Irving. I say play him. I can see him getting up to running back 2 numbers this week. More than 15.
Yeah, I mean, and the over and under, Jason, is at 42, so it's not in the 30s, which is good, but it's going to be mostly Tampa Bay scoring because they're getting 6 points. So they're a touchdown. They are a touchdown favorite in the NFL. That's a lot. So, yeah, expect it to be a run-heavy game for Tampa Bay, even though I still like Mike Evans regardless. And Baker Mayfield, I could see them running the ball a lot against the Giants.
Unless they pull a Lions and they're just like, they could be up by like 14 and still just
I know,
like,
I was thinking that too.
Throw it.
Yeah, with this offensive line, I mean, same thing with the Detroit's. Yeah, remember we talked about that, man. They were bullied for so long. Why are they bullying? Who they bullied last week, Jason? It was Jacksonville. I was like, God, dude, kick a man while he's down. Come on, guys.
Duval County.
Duval County. All right, here we go. All right, Jason. My wide receiver to play this week. It is, again, in my head, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with these games, AFC North divisional games. But Cleveland is kind of tripping me out, dude. I've been looking at some cornerback stats. Cleveland, like Denzel Ward, all right, my brother from another mother. He is giving up 0.39 fantasy points per game. He's terrible. He was that number 1 draft pick from them. He was like a lockdown corner for a while, man. The cornerback on the other side, 0.31 fantasy points per route run. So if you're running on the outside, dude, you're getting fucking points against Cleveland. Let's see. The over and under on this game, though, is the lowest, Jason, 36.5. So Vegas is kind of playing into my fears of AFC North divisional game. But again, Jameis Winston's got the ball in his hands for half the time, hopefully. So shit will be crazy. But yeah, so Pickens has the 4th best cornerback matchup. His name was Martin Emerson. Again, on the other side of Denzel Ward, they are both doing terrible. And Pickens plays on the outside. He is in the slot on 25% of the time. But he's going to go against those 2 terrible corners 75% of the time. Jason, holy shit. Dude, Cleveland is allowing the 6th most passing yards per game over the last 3 games. The 6th most. This shit's like, it was just blowing my mind. I thought Cleveland was playing decent defense, in the middle of the year, I guess. And then Pickens, Jason, wide receiver 17 on the year. He only has 2 touchdowns, and he's wide receiver 17. So, I mean, if he starts catching touchdowns like George Pickens should, he could be a number 1 wide receiver. Cleveland is allowing the 6th most receiving touchdowns per game over the last 3. They're allowing 2 receiving touchdowns per game over the last 3, so six touchdowns over the last 3. So again, Pickens is due for a touchdown, and Cleveland's given up a ton of yards and the what I say, the 6th most touchdowns. So I'm looking for Pickens to have, dude, I don't know, like 100 yards and a touchdown this game.
Dude, so last week they played against the Ravens, right? And like that was a division game, and they didn't even score a touchdown. But you know what Russell Wilson did? He threw the ball at George Pickens. That's all he wanted to do.
Yeah, 4th quarter, they're just like, fuck it. Those high moon balls to George Pickens.
Yeah, and like ever since Russell Wilson became quarterback, like George Pickens has done that much better. And like I said, when he gets that time, he needs a little bit of time in the pocket. He gets that little bit of time, he is bombing it to only George Pickens. George Pickens, I don't know if you said this, Tyler, but he's actually 6th in target share, and his red zone target share is 36%, which is like insane.
And he only has 2 touchdowns, Jason, on that. 2 touchdowns. That's it.
Yeah. And then we're talking about, you're talking about those moon balls from Russell Wilson. He is 5th in air yards, which is crazy. And then there was another thing I wanted to show here. His yards per route run, Tyler, 8th overall. So this matchup, I mean, it could be bad on paper, or it could actually look good on paper because the secondary for the Browns, so they're giving up a lot. But I mean, right now, I feel like it doesn't even matter. If Russell Wilson just gets that like second or two, he's throwing it to George Pickens.
Yeah. So I don't like Russ or Jameis Winston in this game, but I like George Pickens. All right, man. Give me a tight end to play this week.
Is there an echo in here, Tyler? Because I feel like we've heard this guy before. Play tight end 21, Will Dissly. And this is going to be short. We've talked about this game, this player a lot already. Herbert has thrown the ball 30 times or more in 4 of the last 6 games. He spreads the ball out. Both Ravens and Chargers have a good run defense, but the Ravens have a very bad secondary, and Dissly does get targets. Plus, the over and under is 50.5, like you said, Tyler. So this could turn into a high-scoring game. Aerial assault on the pitch. Yeah, I play Will Dissly, dude. I'll play Will Dissly. There's a good chance that he's going to get 10 plus targets this game. He's done it before already this season, and now he's in a matchup that he can't. That dude, it's just how bad the Ravens secondary is. It's so crazy, because Tyler, you and I, we grew up with the freaking Ed Reed back there, dude. They miss those days. They wish he would come out of retirement because they are playing bad. You could throw on this team.
Yeah, and as well as they played last week, Pickens still got some yards and whatever. So I know that was a player ago, but still, I was just thinking about that. Okay, man. Anyways, hey, if it seems like our internet fucked up a little bit, I'm in the middle of this. I'm in the eye of the storm, Jason. I'm like George Clooney out on the ocean.
Oh damn.
You're in the Pacific Northwest. Didn't you hear about that cyclone bomb hitting us?
No, I don't get storm.
We got 4 inches of rain today, dude. 4 inches in the wind. I lost my internet like 3 times already today.
Oh, damn.
So I noticed maybe, I don't know if it's fucking up a little bit. I thought it was. So anyways.
I saw you pause a little bit on our on my end, but it might be okay.
Pause.
Pause, Tyler. Yeah, it might be okay with the local recordings. I guess we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Anyways, hey, thank you everybody for watching. That is the show. Hopefully we earned a thumbs up. Hopefully we earned a subscription again, man. If you actually like the show, giving us a thumbs up gives us a higher chance to get sent out to more people. And that's exactly what we need, man. We need exposure, Jason. We need exposure.
Oh, God. Mom, leave my room and shut the door.
What was that guy say today? He's like, Mom, the fantasy footballer's on. Or so it's like, no, too bad. You have to watch the fantasy red zone or something.
Yeah, it was like, Mom, I want to watch the fantasy footballers. Honey, we got that at home. You know where that's from? I remember I used to say that when I was like a kid. Like, Mom, can I get some Fruit Loops? And she'd be like,
oh,
we got some at home. And it was like some off-brand that was just like horrible, like cardboard. I'm just like,
my mom would be like, we'll make it. We'll make it. We'll make it together. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. For real.
That's what I have to do with my kids, unless you like and subscribe. Anyways, hey, this is the Fantasy Red Zone. Oh, actually, Jason, send us out.
Okay, so after you watch this video, go back in time to one day prior, and you know what? Watch the wide receiver cornerback episode that Tyler puts out. It is great. It helps you decide your own fantasy tiebreakers on your team. What's up?
I don't know. It's great, and I was just like,
it's great.
I don't like people talking about me. Compliments.
It's educational. Okay, now I'm gonna give you compliments. It fucking sucks. Go watch and see how horrible it is when he's out there just talking to himself to a fucking camera. But anyways, on Friday we also have the live version. We have a live episode. We go over our rankings. You can join it. Go get in the chat, ask us questions. We answer to the best that we can. I will talk to you in that live episode. Deuces.
This is the Fantasy Red Zone, and we appreciate you.